stand up. And this is Albert Pye. So this is the other co-creator of Stackblitz. Do the chicken dance. Everyone knows it's you and not one of the other people. So yeah, I'm Eric. And who here has like heard of Stackblitz at least, or like used it, or okay, so woo, okay, cool. A couple of people. So for those of you who haven't heard of Stackblitz before, it's pretty simple. It's an online IDE that lets you spin up like an Angular, React, Svelte, a whole bunch of other frameworks, like live environments in like just one click. So it's really useful for educational purposes, especially like for docs. And so we launched about a year ago, and since then a whole bunch of really awesome projects have started using us for either all of their docs or parts of their docs. And so it's been a ride for us. And education was actually the reason we created Stackblitz. So before I jump too much in the details of Stackblitz itself, I wanted to just touch very briefly on how we came to build an IDE in the browser, because I don't think Albert and I would have ever thought we'd be working on an IDE of any sort in our career. So we actually started with this company called Thinkster. It's still around. You probably have seen it in like the logos they've had over the conference. And it's an online training site where you can learn full stack development. And we came up with this kind of cool way where you could learn any stack and learn how to build a full stack app with it. And it centers around this project called the Real World Project. Has anyone here heard of that by chance? No, a couple people. Okay, so I'll real quick, I'll show you what it is. So this is the Real World Project on GitHub. You can kind of think of it like to-do MVC, but full stack, right? And so what's really cool about it is that it's all mix and match. So you can choose any front end and any back end, and it shows you how to build a like medium.com clone that we call Conduit. So I'll show you that, like what it looks like. Let me zoom in a little bit. So it's like, looks like medium.com, and you can choose any front end and back end that we support. And so a whole bunch of people from the open source community have added stuff. So there's like React, Angular, Elm, Vue, You can just see the list of front ends there. And you go to back ends and you have the kind of typical like Node, and someone made like a Rust one. Like there's just crazy stuff in here, but you can see how you can build a full stack app. So it's pretty cool. So anyway, so we were working on Thinkster, and we have tutorials that correspond with a lot of those stacks. You can like learn how to do the Angular front end, and then like learn how to do the Node back end, or learn the React one, et cetera. And so one of the problems that we ran into was that a lot of people who were learning on Thinkster really had a hard time getting their environment set up and that sort of thing. It wasn't even the frameworks that were difficult to learn. It was, hey, I'm getting this error from the Angular CLI, like Angular is broken. And in reality, it's like Webpack, was doing something and your file system ran out of watchers, right? Like something totally unrelated to Angular in just about every way possible. And so this is a huge problem because we have a couple 100,000 people a month that are like learning and we're giving support to. So we kind of identified there's like two things that really kind of suck about local environments. One's that they are pretty time consuming and not very fun to set up. If you have a great idea and you want to hammer out some code and make it a reality, it's just a buzzkill to have to download a CLI and then scaffold the thing and install the NPM dependencies and then serve it. It just like takes a lot of time to get up and running. But for beginners, it's actually a lot more fatal because they don't have the experience to troubleshoot a lot of the stuff that will typically go wrong when you're setting up a new environment. And this is exactly what we saw on Thinkster. And so we had this idea, this kind of crazy idea. All of these tools that we use in the JavaScript world, like build tools or whatever, they're all written in JavaScript, right? Like Webpack is written in JavaScript. VS Code is written in JavaScript, et cetera, et cetera. So why can't you just like copy and paste that into an index.html and throw it in the browser and it just like works, right? So obviously it's not that easy. It's not easy at all to do that. But Albert and I are just suckers for a good challenge. And we sunk, I think it was like 6 to 9 months of our lives into building the kind of the first version of the thing. And so that's like how Stackblitz came to be, is we were like, hey, this would be really awesome if you could share an environment in a link and have it all be running inside of the browser without a server, right? So real quick, I'm going to show you just the most basic level of functionality on Stackblitz. So this is the homepage. You can go there. Without even being signed in, you can just start a new project. So just start like a React one, for example. And the internet here is a little slow, but it boots up like super fast. So you can see our application is now live over there. And it comes with all of the stuff that you would want in a normal environment on your local machine. It comes with hot reloading. So I can just change that to world. You can see it, hot reloads there. Didn't have to configure anything, set anything up. We've also ported a lot of VS Code, as you can probably tell, to work in the browser. So you can see we have all this good stuff in the sidebar. I can like search and pull stuff up. The other cool thing is that this is actually all working entirely inside of your browser. So when you're like typing and compiling stuff, and even installing new packages, like we wrote an NPM client that works in the browser and it's really fast. So if you install Redux, you can see like boom, like just works insanely fast. It's all being done inside your browser. And what's cool about that is you can actually go offline and Stackblitz will keep working. Like you can keep on refreshing. And a big part of that is that we created a dev server that actually works inside of a service worker. So I can just open up a new window here, take that URL from my project over there, and it loads up. You can see it working there. Here, I'll pull this off to the side so you can kind of see it. And so as I do hot reloads, you'll see that it automatically updates across browser tabs. And I can even do like my normal debugging lifecycle. I can open up the Chrome console. Let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see. So let me, I'll just throw like a console.log react here. And over here, if I can get this thing to go up a little bit, you can see that the console.log is actually showing and I'm actually able to do my exact same debugging lifecycle, right? So this is like really your local environment, the actual functionality and even just the feel of it inside of a web browser, right? So that's like the TLDR of like what Stackblitz is. But we didn't want to just create like a cool little playground where you could try out ideas. Like it's super great for that. But we also want to make it like really awesome, like the best place to build progressive web apps because PWAs are great. Like you can create one code base that targets both mobile and desktop platforms, right? But one of the things that we have realized as we've worked on Stackblitz is that the problem with PWAs is that you have to build one code base that targets both mobile and desktop. How many times have you deployed something to prod that worked great on like a desktop machine and then some mobile device out there, it's acting really wonky, right? So, this is a problem that we saw, as we were building Stackblitz and we wanted to solve it in a really elegant way. And so a couple of months ago, we actually released this thing called Teleport. And what Teleport allows you to do is hot reload and debug PWAs across devices, airwaves, and even continents. This works all around the world. And it's really simple to use. You just send a link to someone, they open it, and it just works. You don't have to install or configure anything. And it really does just kind of work like magic. So for the remainder of our time here, I want to do a demo of this piece of Stackblitz's functionality. So if everyone can pull out their phones or laptops or whatever have you, I've got a URL for you to go to. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page to make sure it's connected to the internet. But the URL is going to be framework-summit.stackblitz.io. I'll zoom in once this thing fully loads up here. Oh no, the internet. Okay, all right, now everyone can go to that URL. Should work. Go on your cellular because it seems like the Wi-Fi is having some problems here. I'll give you a second to go ahead and go to that URL. Again, if you need that, I'm going to zoom in real quick. So that right there is the URL you're looking for. So to demo how easy it is to build and debug PWAs on Stackblitz, I'm going to be creating a clone of Instagram for just a very focused subset of its functionality. And instead of calling it Instagram, we're going to call it InstaBam. And our tagline is going to be, why gram it when you can bam it? So to start off, is everyone seeing this on their phones? They see this, just our logo, our really fancy logo. Okay. So to start off, let's go ahead and let's give a little flavor to this thing, because right now it's just, black text on white background, right? And I'm going to go ahead. I've got some styles here that I made before. I'm going to go ahead and just uncomment this. Hit save. And on your phones, you should see the new background, right? Yeah? Yes? Okay. on some. If it's not going, you might need to refresh. Okay, so some people are seeing it. All right, make sure you're off the Wi-Fi. That might be doing it. And so what's kind of cool is you can actually see how many people are connected live through Teleport right now. So over here in this corner, you can see all of the number of devices currently connected over the air. And I can even go ahead and just scroll through and see where everyone's connected from, all the different devices. It's pretty cool. We'll come back to that in just a second. But for now, let's go ahead and actually start building some functionality, right? So one of the core pieces of Instagram is like having, piping the video from your camera onto the screen, right? So let's go ahead and do that. I have this div here that's a video element, and I have this little piece of code that's gonna actually just take the front-facing camera and then pipe it right into that kind of, you might be able to see the little outline of the box there. I'm gonna hit save, and you can see me. Can you guys, is it working on everyone else's phones? You do have to confirm, and we're taking all this and we're gonna sell the data to Facebook. So, like Instagram, that was their business model, right? Just joking. But anyway, so we have a live video feed here now, right? But again, that wasn't what made Instagram really blow up. It was being able to add filters, right? And so on video elements, you can actually just use regular CSS properties to change how the current video coming through looks. So I'm going to go ahead and enable a couple of filters, and I've added some helper functions down here that will take it and actually convert to CSS and whatever have you. So to start off, there's some days where I wake up and I'm like, man, I don't really look how I look in the mirror today, and I'd rather just kind of see the general outline of me. So I want like a blur filter, And so now you should see like this little blur button down here. If you click it, you see it blurs it, right? It's pretty cool. All being done, hot reloading over the air, right? Like on your client, this is being compiled on my computer, sent over the air, and then hot reloaded onto your device, right? So that's pretty cool. We'll add a couple other ones. I don't get to go out in the sun often because I'm in front of my computer, so like a sepia filter would be nice, do that. So now it makes it a little better at least. Might be making it worse actually. Have some fun, maybe like an invert filter, so I can do like Halloween, like that. It is October. Oh, it's October, jeez. And then the last one I want to do is, here I'll throw off the invert filters. When you're like looking at yourself in the mirror, it's like adjusting your hair or whatever. For me, my hair goes that way. So I do this. But if you notice on your phone right now, it's reversed. So this is like looking at a clone of me doing the same movement as me, which is weird. So I'm going to add a flip button. So flip the video if that's desirable. So I'm going to do that. Oop, that's not, boom, okay. And so now it totally works. So I can do my hair. It works perfect. My Johnny Bravo hair. So that's it's really cool. You can actually see this on, we have a whole bunch of different devices connected here. We can pull that back up again. And the last thing I'll show you here is you can see, well, we've already seen that it's super cool to build stuff using Teleport. The other thing is that it actually allows you to do full debugging. So we wrote this cool little version of Chrome DevTools, ported a little version of Chrome DevTools into this. And so I can go ahead and just look through all the different devices that are connected here. And so I can actually, choose one of these devices, and I am connected to the phone's debugging console now of this person. And this person is, let's see, who was that? Let's choose someone else. So this is someone who is in Utah. So this is a person's on an iPhone in Utah. Presumably they're in this room. So leave your phone open. I'm going to evaluate some code on your phone right now. So I'm going to throw a prompt. If everyone's familiar with the prompt, right? It's puts an alert on there with an input, and then whatever you type into the input is the return value of the prompt, right? So I'm going to ask, what's your name? So someone should see this on their phone. Raise your hand if you got it. All right, type your name in. Something appropriate, please. I do want to come back. His name is Corey. So the return value of a prompt is the string that was entered. So you can see that came right up in the console there, right? And so if you leave it open on your phone, I can actually, if I throw an error, console, or just console.log an error at least, and I hit save, it gets reloaded on his phone. That error is actually being sent right up through Teleport to our Chrome console here, right? So it allows you to do debugging over the air, cross continents, really cool. It's super useful for tracking down those PWA bugs that are tough to find. So anyways, I think that's all we have time for today. But if you want to learn more about Stackblitz, you can go to stackblitz.com, or just come find me afterwards. We're here all night, and then I think we're on a flight at 10 or 11 or something like that. So ideally before then, if you want to meet in person. Thank you.